So, I'll be unboxing basically the most hyped fan ever for a computer, and this is basically Noctua's newest, latest, and greatest technologies all combined into a single product. And this is the new Noctua NF-A12X25 PWM version. And this is just launched, and they basically took 4.5 years to make this thing. And you might have seen some like early looks into this and leaks and stuff from Computex and also CES. Noctua has brought this like prototype of this fan to a few of the trade shows, but they haven't launched it for so long, even though they teased it. They teased it in like Computex and stuff over and over, but now they finally launched it, and here it is. So in this video, we'll just be taking a look at the box and the product itself. The more detailed performance testing will come later. But yeah, so let's take a look. As always, you have a very nice packaging from Noctua. All the many technologies crammed into the back of the product, and it's all clear, and you can actually read like what all of these do. And because there's so many of them, obviously they couldn't just put it all on the back, so they made a flap so that you can take a look at them one by one. And I think the most interesting ones are these new technologies, which are the ultra tight tip clearance on this fan. It now has just a 0.5 millimeter fan blade to fan frame tip clearance, which is super tight. And because of that, it's supposed to reduce air leakage and in turn reduce static pressure loss. So it should increase the static pressure of this fan when working against a radiator or heatsink. And one other interesting thing is also that Noctua made a new compound for this fan. They call it Sterox, and that's also in relation to this technology because they require this new material in order to make a fan that can work with such really tight tip clearance. Otherwise, with normal plastic like ABS or like PBT, it would basically just kind of deform when doing high speed and also over time, and it'll eventually scratch the housing. But with this new material, the fan can actually last long even though the tip clearance is so tight. And that new material also has a different look. It looks kind of like it's rough, but it really isn't. Just the the molecule orientation and stuff that makes it reflect light in that way. But anyways, in this side you also get this very interesting and very informative fan PQ curve. So it's a curve that shows the fan's performance. So they compared to their NF-F12 and also S12A fans. So the F12 is the pressure optimized, and the S12 is the airflow optimized. So you can see that the F12 has higher maximum pressure than the light green line, which is the A12. But then in the middle part, the A12 is better than both the S12, which is better in the airflow region on the lower impedance, high airflow region. So basically A12 is better in the middle area, which is the most important part because you will never see an application that requires just pressure or just airflow. You'll be like somewhere in the middle, a mix of both, which previously was better with the F12 fan, but now that we have the A12, they claim that this is the best fan that they have ever made. And now for the accessories, they also show it on the box on the front flap and also above the window that shows the anti-vibration mount and the fan hub itself, which also looks really unique because this time they have an exposed metal hub. But anyways, let's just take a look inside and see what we get with our own eyes instead of taking a look at the box and taking it for granted. So you also get this letter from Noctua. Dear customer, thank you for choosing the product and stuff like that. And yeah, you really feel their quality control and also their engineering, because this fan has been in development for 4.5 years, so that's a really long time, and that's so typical of Noctua. So basically these are just like the installation instruction and their short letter. But let's get to the fan itself. So here it is. It's the typical Noctua beige and also brown color, so you either hate it or love it. It's all preference. I personally don't mind it, because it's all about the performance with Noctua fans. And here with this fan, this is the ultimate 120mm fan from Noctua, and it also does have some kind of resemblance to the Sky Gentle Typhoon, and they actually also admitted that in their press release. But that's mostly because they explained that there's a lot of fans with this similar design as well, because this is simply the basic design for a high performance like mix of airflow and pressure design fan blades. So that's why they went this route, but their blade angles and the sweep is much different, they claim, compared to the Sky Gentle Typhoon and other fans. And so yeah, let's take a look at the fan, because I think this is the most important part, of course, other than the accessories, which you also get a lot. We'll get to that later. But yeah, so it has the usual Noctua stuff. SSO2 bearing, so they're high quality bearing, and very nice metal badge on the back of the fan. I actually really like it, compared to most fans who just have a crappy plastic or paper sticker. This one's really nice, and as with any Noctua product and their fans, it's extremely sturdy. There's no bending at all on the frame, and it feels really solid, and it's actually quite heavy too. I think thanks in part to the reinforced motor hub. So this thing has another metal hub under the plastic hub, and I guess because they have the protruding bit on the middle, that's why they have to cut out on the middle and expose the metal. I think that looks pretty cool. I mean, given how Noctua looks with brown and beige already, that just makes it even more eccentric, I think, compared to other fans. And here's also the most important technology that they're so proud of too, the 0.5mm fan blade to frame gap. The tip clearance is extremely tight. There's barely any gap, so it should not leak a lot of air at all when used against a radiator. And also, interesting thing is that because of their new fan blade design, I guess, they also changed the fan frame design. Instead of having the notched stepped inlet on just the side, they have it all around the fan inlet now. So I think that's supposed to help the noise even more, because previously the side parts don't have any step notches, just on the edges. So yeah, this should be better. And you can see that the brown is also a little bit different than the typical Noctua brown. It's a bit lighter, and that's basically just because of the material that they're using, the Sterox compound. It's a bit harder to color according to them, but I think they mentioned that because it looks different, you'll know that it's because of the new material that they made, so they're actually kind of proud of that. But yeah, the new Noctua fan, here it is. There's the Noctua logo on the back, and yeah, it looks pretty nice for a Noctua, that is. And here's the accessories. You get the fan rubber seal for using it against a radiator, so that's really nice to seal the air against it. And obviously you get the anti-vibration mounts, also brown, and also a lot of cables, which I'll go through. So here's a Y splitter, and here is a low noise adapter, so to lower the fan speed. I think it lowers it to 1700 RPM or so. And here's a fan extension cable, just in case your case is too big, because the fan cable is a bit short on this thing, although it's all braided, so it looks really nice too. And you also get normal self-tapping screws, although I wouldn't use those. I would just use the anti-vibration mounts. And for now, let's just test out the fan and see how it runs at full speed, 12 volts. So I'm gonna plug it in. And yeah, it's really quiet. You can't hear it at all. And I think my PC is a bit loud, so I'm gonna turn down the fans for a while. But yeah, so I've turned down my PC, so basically all we can hear should be this fan and maybe some background noise. But it's extremely quiet at 2000 RPM, which is what this is rated for. It's extremely quiet for 2000 RPM. That's all I have to say. And it does blow a good amount of air too. This is not bad at all, because it's 2000 RPM and has 9 blades, so it does blow quite a lot of air. Although it doesn't blow as hard as my 3000 RPM Noctuas, that's to be expected because those are industrial Noctuas and these spin 1000 RPM faster. But this seems promising at first, especially since it's extremely quiet. Compared to my Sky Gentle Typhoon, which I feel that thing blows a little bit harder because it's a little bit higher RPM at 2150. It is quite a bit noisier, and you can hear the bearing noise on that fan, certainly. Well, this fan is completely quiet. Maybe you can hear a little bit of air noise, but otherwise it's basically silent, even at full speed. Which is really awesome because the previous F12 at just 2000 RPM, you can really hear those too. But this one, the successor, is really quiet. But I think that should be pretty much it for this unboxing, as long as it is. And this fan's super smooth, blows a lot of air, and also is super quiet. But we'll see the performance testing once I've tested this fan. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please leave a like and please click subscribe to see more of my future videos. Thanks for watching.